All right, let's start this again. Welcome to our TNT. This is Miss Burke's rescheduled meeting that we had, I think, scheduled last quarter, and we just went ahead and bumped it up to this quarter. So we will go ahead and also put a link to this in the comments down underneath for the recorded version too.
Yes. Yeah, if you type in bit.ly/Burke with a capital B, TNT, that's all capitals, and 2021. We'll take you to this presentation. What I'm going to do is just cover a variety of topics. Some of them you might know, so you can just kind of sit and see if I have anything to add to what you already know. Some of you might have never heard or seen of it before, so it might be new. It might be something for you. You might look at it and say, nope, that's not for me. So just take away from today what you can. Hopefully you'll get at least one piece of information. So what I'm going to start with is probably what's hard. So if I don't get to everything, the stuff towards the end of it has the links and you can just go and check it out for yourself. Again, just take kind of what I have. It's coming from this year, this crazy year, basically since we got shut down for COVID. So this is kind of a year-long worth of some tips and tricks. First, though, I want to ask, when doing a Google document, do you guys know that it always comes up to Arial font, right? You always know there's this default font. I've changed mine. Do you know how to change it?
I know how in Google, but not in slides.
In
I know in docs, but not in slides.
Okay.
So I want to change it in slides.
Well, I got tired of every time I opened one to change it to the font I like, because usually there's a font that you just use for most of your stuff. And I'll show you how to do it here in Google Docs. So if you open up a Google Docs, and this didn't make it to the slideshow presentation because I wasn't sure how to do it, other than maybe to link a how-to video. But if you open up a Google document and you type something, so just type something, can be just random letters, doesn't even matter if it's capitals or whatever, and then you highlight it, okay? Now, make sure you change it to whatever text you want yours to be. So let's say I want mine to be luckiest guy, okay? And I want it to be a size 18 font. I want that to be what everything from now on is me. Like it always comes up. So I go up here to format, paragraph styles, and I go down here to normal text and I want to update it. Okay, so I hit update and you don't really see much happening yet. Then I go over here to normal text again. Format again. Go to paragraph styles, and this time head all the way down to options and save as my default styles. Boom. Okay, now it's saved. Now, how can I see if this worked? Well, go back in, open up a new Google Doc, and look, luckiest guy, size 18. It's my new font. So every time I open a Google Doc, I will have the same exact font, but I can always change it back to whatever I like. So if you seem to say I use Times New Roman a lot, I use that Merriweather one. I have a particular size font. I make most of my documents in. That is a little trick. Again, this is just tips and tricks of things that I can do. I did find there is a website, and I probably could put this link into the thing. It just is not one of those secure, lovely ones. But it is one where you can also change your margins. So if you want a different thing than the standard margins, you can do that as well. But it shows here, this is what I just showed you, how to change your font. Okay, so that's that little cheat there. Now, Google Classroom. Some things I've learned with Google Classroom is the more simple you can make it, the better. Kids today are not like us, where we were willing to sit down and read a paragraph of instructions. They want it short and sweet, written in like text format, almost texting lingo they get before they get full words. So in Classroom, I learned if I'm doing a topic or a name of something, I need to keep it simple, but I needed to make it eye-catching because they're used to emojis. So this has become my best friend, Emojipedia, because I can go there, and if I do, get out and go to Emojipedia, I can search for anything, and it just so happens we just started something on genetics. So let me see if they have anything for genetics. DNA. So I could say, yeah, I want to use this as my new, kind of picture for my new topic that we're going to do in 8th grade. All I do is click copy, and I have now copied it to the clipboard, and I can go into Google Classroom. Here's my 8th grade class. Go into classwork. I can create our new topic that's going to go out, and I can put the DNA in there. And then I will label this because we are now starting Unit 6, and it's on genetics. I have discovered, and you guys can see it in the slideshow right here, that using those, I can then say, go to find the Earth. And they know right which one. I'll say Unit 5, whatever. And if I have that little symbol. Now in math, it might be a little more difficult to do, but if you have a section that might just be your assignments, I have a section for bell ringers. So I have one with a bell. My assignments have just this little piece of note paper with a pencil. They know that if there's important resources, it'll be a file folder. They'll know that's jam-packed full of information. So I use them not just in topics, but I put them into resources, sometimes even in an assignment. I'll say the one with the star or the one with a smiley face, that's where we're going. Then emojis became interesting for me when it came to assignments. Instead of overusing emojis, I decided to start numbering assignments, and that has cleaned up my life completely. I don't ever have to tell them the name of an assignment. And so often they overlap. Like, for example, I've got some math people in here. Okay, we're doing geometry. Well, there's a lot to geometry. Okay, we're doing circles, but there's so many assignments with circles, or there's so many assignments with polygons, or we're doing algebra. So we're going to do expressions and we're going to do equations. And again, they look a lot alike. How to keep them separate is start number system. So when I started numbering, all I do is go open up number 36, open up number 35, and they can find it immediately, whether it be in classroom or the stream. So numbers is another trick that I decided to start using. But again, I only use that with assignments. It doesn't refer to a resource. Those I save with an emoji and kind of what's going on with that resource. If it's a topic, again, another emoji. You can see my bell ringers are numbered, but I specifically named them. And that also helps them. But those are some little tricks that I learned while doing Google Classroom to make my life a little simpler. They like the emojis. They kind of associate it with whatever we're talking, the apple I used for Newton's law, the apple, the gravity thing. They get it. They start to find things a lot easier. Okay, Google Slides. Having to do a lot of online presentations, I've learned that I should not have to sit there and design every slideshow myself. There should be something out there I can use. And of course there is, and it's free. And it's by a lady who is not even a teacher. And that's what I can't believe. She does this to relieve her stress. She comes home from her world of finance and sits down and makes these free Google Slide templates. And if you haven't heard of her yet, Paula's got her own website here. And if you just explore the top, you can see she's got a variety of things. So if you're interested in games, hyperdocs, she kind of has those here as choice boards, is what she calls them. She has templates that'll take you to different places and jump around. She has a lot of everything for educators. She also has things divided out into categories. There is a place here, if you design one, you can have it featured on her website. This is all free, and probably my most favorite part are her how-to videos. Let's say you do want to make one of your own. She very graciously has put how to do that on there. So how do you get one of her templates? The one I'm teaching with today, the one I'm using, I got from her. And all I did was look through her selection and picked one. She has interesting things for any subject matter. You can search your own subject. The games are kind of interesting. I think they've got lots of holiday stuff, but she also has more simplified templates here. These, like let's say you're doing a news story or something, you can just create, it's kind of like a free front page news. So they have a variety of things, journals for presentations and planners. Again, a website for you just to kind of go and explore. So if you haven't seen Slidesmania, again, it makes your life a lot easier if you don't have to design something and you can use hers. And I would say my favorites are her board games. She mimics things that you see on TV. She tries to do things that are interesting and fun. This is kind of neat, her file folder. She's got game boards, treasure things that you can turn something you do in class into a game. Okay, so besides that, in Google Slides, I like Google Documents and I still make things with them, but I have changed almost all of my outlines and things I do in class. All of my worksheets and things are now made in Google Slides. I really don't hardly use Google Documents anymore, that I figured out how to do my slides, and I'll show you some that I've created. Okay, these are worksheets on Google Slides. I can put images, I can outline and do, so it can look like a Google document, and it really does, but it gives me the freedom to insert things. If you've ever tried to put in pictures into a Google document, you know, wrapping word text or how to get your text to go around. It's a lot easier if you just put in text boxes and you can move these anywhere you want. So I have switched to giving notes by using Google Docs. There's another series of notes, and these are made, so here's the blank one that I give the kids, and then I can put in the answer key too. So those that miss the notes can also come and see what we did on the notes. But I've created these, like I said, not in docs, because it's a lot easier just to put a giant text box or put text box where I want them and intertwine diagrams or informations or pictures as I see fit. So how can you do that in a Google slideshow? Well, the easiest way to do that is down here in page setup. Turn it into an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. It has made my life so much simpler when I want to design a lab or an interactive type worksheet for the kids with pictures and diagrams and drawings, to give them it on a Google document that I don't need to fight the margins, the spacing, the wrapping the text, and all that a document asks you to do. It's a lot easier with Google Slides. So you just change it to 8.5 by 11. And if you want to set it up portrait style, you can. You just do 11 by 8.5. And it turns it so that all your worksheets then are printed landscape style. So that's a little trick there that I learned with that.
You told me that before I started teaching, and boy, you're right. It's so much easier.
I'm just taking all my old notes, outlines that are boring, putting them over, and I can outline them. I can put text. I can put arrows. I can do all kinds of stuff. And on a document, you just can't. You don't have the freedom. It kind of always moves things.
I tried looking to see if there's like other borders besides the one they have. Like I haven't found any yet.
I change color and stuff because see, you can use it and you can write on top of it. You can share it with them. They get their own copy of my slides so that they can just take notes right there on my slides.
What would you click on to get to the page setup again?
To the page setup, in slides, you go to file. Yeah.
This file's on the bottom.
File, yeah, I have to scroll down, page setup. And then 8.5 by 11. But let me tell you, turning that, And then, so now that all my notes are this, see, when they were on Google Documents and I would share them with the kids would start typing and it would push things and move things. On a Google slide, I can put like a giant text box and it's a lot more room. They can just fill it up with whatever they need to do, or they can even paste images into that. And in a Google document, this is a lot harder. And so I can share an entire thing of notes with them and it all be in color and we have it at home. We're in person here, so I am making them take notes on paper, but it's easy. I just go and print them out. So, but that's another little tip that I came across that, yeah, saved my life with Google Documents. Now I'm going to show you 3 different programs that I have come to not be able to live without. One here recently and one that I've been using, 2 that I've been using a while now. This is called Wiser Me. I don't know if you've ever seen Wiser Me worksheets. It's free. They do have a paid version that does open up extra stuff, but I have never needed it. And I have been using it since I first learned it at one of our e-learning conferences here. A long time ago, I went and sat in a class. A USI student held it. She said, this is my thing. I think she was doing it for a class project. Wiser Me. And I got on board, and it was frustrating at first because it was still new. So they were still working out the kinks. They've gotten a lot better. So if you go to Wiser Me, you see I have it pulled up. I can also log in. Let me pull mine up. But this is their login. You can just start from scratch, or you can look in their library and search using different tags. But I like this just because I wanted to show you. Here's health or a class. Here's language, foreign language. Here's lab safety. You can put pictures and questions in. Matching, order of operations. So there's math in here too. Adding, subtracting decimals. You've got, again, more science, just chapter quizzes. Here's something we'll be doing in 8th grade, meiosis. Tons of different things, and it's for all age levels. So if you're tuning in your high school or elementary, this is for everybody. And you can create a free account, and I'll go into mine and just very quickly show you kind of what one is. You log it with Google, and by the way, it is synced with Google Classroom, so you can create an assignment here, and boom, it'll send it out to all their classrooms, which is really, really nice. So you can just sync it up that way. So I've created folders, and in each of my folders, I have stuff. We're working in earth science right now. I've got copies of other people's, but then I've got where I make my own copy of theirs, and I've created mine. I've created some that are differentiated for different skill sets of students. Here, let's go to the most recent one I did. I'll open it up. I'll show you what a worksheet looks like. You can start from scratch, or you can do like me. I go to the library and I look. Why start and reinvent the wheel when it's already out there for you? So I got mine from someone else, kind of copied, but I changed some things around. Here are all the types of questions you can put in here. You can put in a video, and they watch a video, and then they answer the questions that are below. So it's an alternative to doing an ed puzzle. You don't have any proof that they watched the video. Could they have just gone and answered the questions? Yes, but it's a way of doing things differently. You can put links, tables, drawings. You can do fill in the blank, and you can do fill in the blank in different ways. I have a text box down here that they can pick, or you can have like an honors where there's none, and they have to come up with the word on their own. And it's like Google Forms. You need to let it know what it's looking for, because it will automatically grade everything. So this is what on their end it looks like to them. This is kind of just how it looks when they get it. They get these little dots. They click on them. They enter the text. I keep warning them, spelling counts. Here, multiple choice. They just select their answer. But when I go to assign it to learners, what I do is right now I've already created one. I can create another assignment. Next year if I want to, I can get rid of this one next year. If I want to start all over, I can just use this one next year. Here are ways to assignment. You can put a link in Google Classroom. You can automatically assign it through Google Classroom. Some of the features are paid, but as long as you keep yours public, you have a lot of access to a lot of things. And then this is great, your answers. Answers coming back from Wiser Me. Don't allow you to analyze the results as much, but here it lets me pick a student and, I can pick a random person here and I can see what that student answered. I can go through, I can see their answers, see what they got wrong. He didn't do this part of the assignment here. So anyway, I can see what he did. Up here at the top, it tells me how long he worked on it, that it's submitted. If you have the paid account, you can give it back to him and let him retry. But I don't really need to do that, but I can sort by last name. So let's say you want to put this in the grade book, you can sort by last name. You can sort by score, so I can see, up here at the top, who are my strugglers. It's another way of doing a homework sheet instead of handing them a piece of paper or doing, I get so tired of Google Forms and Cami. I like the variety that Wiser Me does.
Can you go in and, like, if it's a spelling error and you want us to be like, oh yeah, you can click it and it'll automatically update?
If it is a spelling error, all I do is click it and it rescored it.
Nice. Okay.
I don't have to correct the spelling for it to go. I can just say accept. So if it's kind of there, I can give them the point. And if I really am mad, I can take away points too. If I know they cheated, they got that answer from a friend, I can erase that one off. But I like how I can sort the worksheets. I can save them from year to year, but I just, I can move them around or I can compare one year to another. The only thing is that you can't pull classes out. So you'd have to create a separate assignment for each class. Otherwise, all the scores are in there. So for me, it is a pain having all my scores together unless I separate and keep creating another assignment. So if I have 4 7th grade classes, 4 assignments, I like putting them all in one note because then I have all my classes and I can see, is it one particular class that's at the top of the score thingy? Is it, where are they all falling? But that's one. 2 more that I wanted to share. This one here, it's called Formative. Anyone here use Formative? You like it? I love it. How long have you used it?
Last, the horrible spring, that's when I started.
Okay. Whitney Martins had this and she was using it when I first started. I liked it. I started using what she was doing with it. And then when we went to COVID, I started exploring it more as another option. This is an introduction video that you can go and watch so you can learn a little bit more about it. But in a nutshell, it's kind of, and I'll go through, formative is this icon. Okay, I'll go through mine. And this asks me to look in. Okay. But again, you can link this so you can do assignments straight from here to Google Classroom. One of these great ones. It has a library. You can go searching for things. So again, you don't have to come up with your own. Some people have an entire year's worth of material in a giant folder. Other times you have to search and, like, for example, we're going to be doing the heart. We dissect the heart. So I searched the heart. I found this one. I love this one. In fact, I've even used this worksheet before. What I can do here is I can add a question. So let's say I want to ask what this part of the heart is. I can add a question and I can edit, and here are my questions that are my choices with the free version. If I got the paid, I'd have a little bit more audio kind of differentiation type stuff. Otherwise, you can do the show your work. You can have them work out, a math problem. Now, obviously, this is all typing, so this is a little different than what Cami can do for you as far as that is. But there's a whiteboard and with the Chromebooks, they can kind of do a simplified problem. But you can upload. I mean, this is an actual worksheet you can upload. You can put in there. And here will be their things. Let's see. Let's look at one that I've assigned here. So while they were at home, they did plate boundaries. So I can review the assignment here. So I can see that my honors class did really, really well. You missed there, but you can see every question. Green means they got it right. Red means they didn't. Let's see how period 6 did with the same assignment. I can see some haven't done it yet, but here I can actually hide the names, so I can even show it to the kids. And I can go like, okay, let's go back and let's review, number 14 seemed to be a one that we all had a little problem with. And we can go and see that. And I can change their score. If they kind of answered it right and it wasn't matching what I put in as an answer, I can go back in and change it, and I can mark it wrong too. But it's really neat that you can, again, sort the names. I can sort things. I can go into a kid themselves and see all of their answers, kind of get an overview of that. Let's see, one other neat feature is this is the tracker. And I can see how we're doing. I can see how I'm doing as a grade. How do we do on plates of boundaries? Okay, it's a little low here for my liking, but pretty good in the other ones. I only assigned these other two to the honors. Here's something else I can do, period A and period 4 on my 8th grade. Obviously, Typhoid Mary did not go well for period 4. And I couldn't figure out why we, didn't, but.
Wait, Mary's on the missing assignment.
Yeah. Another thing, and I've not tagged my stuff, but you could actually tag your standards. So if you were wanting to do a thing where you check standards, this is an alternative to Google Forms that, to me, doesn't do all the nice graphing that everything does, but it allows me, and I can just sync it with Google Classroom and it pulls all my classes in. And then I have formatives here, and I can start putting them into things. I don't know. I kind of liked the option. These are short answer. Here, let me show. Let's do period A, seeing as how they did a little better here. So I can look at their answers here like this, and you can look at them live as they're coming in. So they can be sitting at their desk, and this, you can actually see the words being typed onto the screen up here. And what I like is I can see, and I can hide names here, so I can put this on the board, and I can say, stop typing. Okay, let's look, and we can compare where are our opinions, where, agree, I think that she was guilty of murder. I don't think she was guilty. So we can stop and we can talk, or, why are you thinking this way? Very quick answer. Short and to the point, not guilty. But so I can see them all. So when I'm grading these, I can sit here and kind of compare and contrast them against each other, and then I can just go in on this, and I can give it. I had a scoring rubric that I sit down with, and I figure out how much it has, and then I scored it. And I can even go to the assignment itself. So here's a scoring rubric. I put that up at the top of the assignment, and then I was told that this was too tiny to read, Mrs. Burke, but I said, you have a Chromebook. It has Zoom for a reason. They just zoom in. So they can enlarge it, and they can then read it. But it allows you, if you have diagrams and things, you can just upload the picture in.
Yeah.
And then you can start putting dots all over it, just like Wiser Me. Wiser Me can do that too. You can put dots anywhere on the paper that you want to. So let's say I'm reading this assignment, go back to Typhoid Mary. So if I'm reading this assignment and I have this here, I can actually click on the diagram. I can put a question right here. Okay, after reading paragraph 1, what do you think the rest of this is about? Or do you agree with the author and his statement that Mary did not know? So I can put the question. So when they see the question over here, it'll appear over here. They know it's referring to where the number is over here on either the diagram or the writing. So this has become an interesting tool for me. These are old kids from previous years, right on here, before we had Google Classroom. So this is how Whitney and I were using it before we had Google Classroom. Once we had Google Classroom and could sync it up, our classes, we just import them and it does it all for us. Okay, so formative, and the last one is quizzes. You all play quizzes?
Yeah.
Okay. And you all know how to look at the data reports on it too, right? So with quizzes, the last thing I wanted to show you for those, For those who don't use quizzes or haven't seen it yet, again, they have an extensive library that you can go to, find ready-made quizzes on whatever topic you happen to be studying. My library has all science topics, but you could go out there and explore. They have it math, science. They ask you when you sign up for your account what you are, so yours always appears towards the top. But they have anything and everything here. You can put it into your library if you like it, make a copy of it, and then alter it. So these are ones that I never made these from scratch. I just take it from someone else, change, well, this one here, obviously I did not. I took it directly from them. But once you get a quizzes basically, you can create questions. So this is one we did recently. Create questions, you can insert images, and then when you start a live quiz, it's like playing a game in class. But I love it for homework, and here's why. I can put a deadline on here so they know they have so long to do it. I can assign it directly through Google Classroom, which I love. So I can assign it from right here. I don't have to copy and paste links. And then I can allow them to take it as many times or 2 or 3 times, and then it automatically shows their top score. So when I go to put scores in the grade book, if I want to do that with it and have it be a grade, I tell them I take their top one. A lot of them just play it one time and then they quit. Some of them do take advantage of playing it multiple times. For honors, kids, I usually only have them play it one time. Here's all these options you can customize to do that. But when you go and then assign it, you just pick your class that you want it to assign it to Google Classroom. It's really easy. They can also play it from their phone if they get it on their phone. They could do homework on their phone. But then when you get a report, and right now I have they've recently ended here, but with quizzes, I can go and see this one we did in class. This is how kind of the score report. But this is this one. This is what I like. This allows me, especially if I've tagged these with standards, I can pull them out and analyze them according to standard, which is great. Being able to see the mastery on some of this. So there are all layers here. It's only has 4 kids, but again, I can see if something was consistently. And with this, one thing here, topics would be what's tagged. One thing I can suggest is it also gives you that class average. This is probably my last little hint that I'll share with you. When you play these and the start is a live quiz, at the top, they'll tell you how they did, the overall class accuracy. I always play it a second time with them and tell them I don't care. I block out that bottom part of the screen and just show that class average and say, beat your old one. Okay, as a class, the first time around, they got a 50%. I'm like, okay, let's do it again right now. Do it all over again and see if you can beat it. And they love that challenge because they'll pick each other up. Because someone will go like, oh, I missed one. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. I got you. I got it. And that's been the greatest thing. I think I've seen a lot of collaboration effort. They also like doing it at home because it's assigned there and they go back in. Ooh, I still have the top score, or ooh, I'm still in the top 10. They can see where they placed. Even after they finish the assignment, they can go back in and look. So I like the options that this has for online learning. That's about it.
All right, thank you.
I have kids creating my own meme set.
Oh, yeah, I do it too. No, but
You can put your own pictures.
You can put your own pictures on them. So I do that with I put funny pictures.
Yeah.
With the assignments.
But they're creating a whole set of memes for me to import because if you've ever played it, it puts memes between the questions while you're waiting for the next question to load. Yeah, I've got memes of me. Well, I'm a Karen, people.
Does anyone have any questions real quick?
There it is. Yeah. And if you forget how to change the Google Docs thing, I'll put that link in there in case you want to all change your font from Arial, what is it, 12 or 10 or 11?
Yeah.
That boring font.
I don't wish there was a way to change it in Google Slides, because I'm like you, I do everything on Google Slides, and every time you put a new text box. you know,
Because it's not text-based, I think is why it doesn't have a default setting on text.
Yeah,
It's not necessarily meant for worksheets, but it's become the standard in
So what are you
worksheets.
saying you can change the text on? What is it? What were you doing?
Docs.
The default on a,
Oh, the default on docs. Oh, yeah.
So that when you open a brand new one, after you change the first one, now it won't go back and change all your old ones. So it won't do anything and touch anything you've already done. But anytime you open a new Google document, you'll open to that same font. which
show them the
is-
trick for opening a slide or a doc without having to go through their drives. You showed me that doc.new or slide.new.
Yeah,
That's a really good one.
docs.new. And it takes you to that.
Or slide.new or sheet.
Slides.new, forms.new. Is a quick one. Another thing with Google Classroom, you all keep going into it. Why not create a drop-down menu of all your classes? That's another good one.
Looks like Courtney doesn't recommend it.
This also saved me a lot of time, rather than opening and finding my class, because I've got a bunch of them. This allows me to bookmark each one and then put them in a dropdown. And taking all of these things, all those names up of all of these, allowed me to have a whole slew of them up here. So I just click on, because I know what all these little things are. But yeah. And if you have spreadsheets you go to like frequently, like Workroom or, we have slides, I have them bookmarked up here. Save me a whole ton of time. But yeah, having drop downs for these.
awesome. Thank you so much. I always learn so many things when you do this.
There's so much out there.
There is.
I try and cover as much as I can as quickly as I can.
Well, let's work on Wednesdays we did summer before last. I remember you gave me a bunch of good tips then. You're a new teacher, you're doing it for the first time.